I spent more than 25 years incarcerated. I was in as a juvenile, 17 years old.
I went in at 16 years old. I did 35 years.
I was a 16-year-old girl going to prison, so I was coming home a 41, almost 42-year-old woman.
I was incarcerated for 19 years, from the age of 15 to the age of 34.
The United States is the only country in the world that allows teens to be sentenced to life without parole. Most of them are concentrated in just 5 states, Louisiana being one of them.
And in Louisiana, a life without parole sentence means until the day you die.
Louisiana was the nation's 3rd highest jailer of juvenile lifers when in 2016, the case of Montgomery versus Louisiana, the Supreme Court said that except in the most rare cases, youth offenders deserve a shot at a second chance. It's a reality that seems so far away for some like Lloyd Jarrow.
I was obsessed. My obsession was what I'm going to do when I get out. I'm talking about to the tiniest fraction of putting the seatbelt on. 17, I was young, illiterate, couldn't spell the word what. I was misguided, insecure.
And the product of a broken home and poverty. Today, Jarrow is a reentry specialist with the Louisiana Parole Project, helping others like himself adjust to a world they may not understand. Jarrow tells me he does not take his second chance lightly.
It was never, ever a relaxed moment. In fact, I was explaining it to a friend of mine. When we embrace, I have a habit of inhaling very, very deeply, like, and then exhaling. And she's like, why are you doing that? I said, because it's moments like this that's not so often that I get to like mentally let all my guards down.
With a recent uptick in juvenile crime, some lawmakers have called for repealing some prison reform laws, including the Raise the Age law that currently keeps 17-year-olds out of adult prisons.
So your position is that 17-year-old that commits a violent murder is a child and should be treated like a child and held in a juvenile facility?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. I understand where we are, and we just disagree.
But Louisiana Parole Project Executive Director Andrew Hundley, also a former juvenile lifer, says this will set us back.
And what we've seen since these recent reforms are over 100 people in Louisiana, men and women, who were told that they would die in prison as children. They've come home. Not only are they not going back to prison, but they're paying taxes, they're working.
Because of Hundley, Matthew Pineda is now a community engagement coordinator.
When he came into the system, I was already in probably 10, 12 years.
And on the day of Pineda's release, Hundley was outside waiting for him. For Pineda, the road to redemption has been a long one.
It was a terrible mistake, and God allowed me to go through a restorative justice program where I can talk to my victims' daughters. For them to meet me, and I cried the entire time and apologized the entire time, and for them to embrace me and say, we've been praying for you for all these years.
He says at 51, he's a completely different person than his 16-year-old self. And despite many regrets, he's grateful for another day.
My very best day inside prison is no comparison to my worst day on the outside. It's so much better being free.
Research confirms that individuals under the age of 18 are not fully developed physically, intellectually, or emotionally.
It was my 15th year, roughly, and I woke up and I'm like, wow, I am still here after being sentenced to life.
I didn't think about the consequences at 16 years old.
Today, Christy Cherami has devoted her life to giving hope to those who she says nurtured her as a little girl growing up in prison.
There are so many people that are there that wake up every single day praying, hoping that someone just recognizes the good in them. I've been home a little over 3 years. And my God, I never saw my life to where it is today.
Now engaged and a homeowner, Cherami is focused on strengthening relationships with her family.
They remembered that 16-year-old girl, who she was, but to know who I am, they only grabbed that within a 2-hour visit.
Each of these former juvenile lifers say they owe their second chances to Henry Montgomery, benefiting from the namesake of a juvenile lifer who didn't see freedom himself until the age of 75.
As crazy as it may sound to some people, I'm learning to live life. I'm learning each and every day what it's like to experience life.
Vanya Joseph, Fox 44 News.